Welcome back to Technology Behind Business. Cloud computing has been around for a while and gaining traction over the last few years. In the last week alone, we've seen a new strategy from Intel called Cloud 2015, while Verizon announced a global data center expansion to increase its capabilities. A recent study by research firm IDC shows 3 of the top 5 reasons for adoption are linked to cost benefits. Joining us this week to discuss the issue is Kevin McIsaac, Research Advisor at IBRS, Paul Harrapin, Managing Director of VMware Australia, Stephen Sims, General Manager of Brennan IT, and Phil Offer, the Marketing Director for SMBs at Optus.
Thanks for that, Bridie. Now, turning our attention to cloud. Kevin, if we can start with you, exactly what does cloud computing mean?
Cloud computing is a very broad term, but it really describes a style of computing where instead of having all your equipment in-house or your services in-house, you get it from a third party over the internet. So it's a utility, a little bit like getting electricity or water from somebody else.
Okay, so Paul, what's the difference then between virtualization and cloud computing? How do they all work in synergy?
Virtualization's really the underpinning technology to cloud. So as Kevin mentioned, the aggregation of computing resources, virtualization allows that to happen. So most organisations over the last 5 years have been investing tremendously in virtualization. Cloud really is the next step of taking that aggregation of resources, making it much more self-sufficient, self-delivery, self-managing and available as you need it, whenever you need it.
So bringing it back to some real sort of product terms, what do you need within your infrastructure to make this happen?
Well, the virtualization, the VMware software to start is a good start. And then that allows you to put all of the resources together and look to the business applications as if it's one great pool of one large computer in essence. Once that happens, you can put a whole range of processes around that allow the business units to log on and provision their own resources. An example is we need a new website for a new banking product. The banking division can log on, provision that infrastructure for themselves and then often use it rather than having to go and buy a computer, integrate it, get it all set up and running. Okay.
Now, Stephen, if we can go to you, take us through what exactly the relevance is for this technology with this SMB market. What are you seeing them keen on the most?
3 key areas that the mid-market are focusing on when they're looking at cloud computing. So they're looking at increased levels of reliability, so they're access to the latest technology that they might not be able to purchase themselves, don't have the budget for. They're getting scalability, the ability to increase their infrastructure or decrease it depending on the business needs. And the third thing is a better pricing model for the mid-market. They don't have large capital budgets that they have available to spend. When they look at a cloud-based solution, they can pay on an OPEX-based model, so pay for more on what they need or what they use, and that is also very attractive for the mid-market.
Okay, I'll get you, Phil. Take us through some of those pricing models and the type of services you get for different pricing models.
Yeah, well, I think that the models that we use certainly is for paying is for infrastructure. At the moment, where Optus does it is a pay-as-you-need. So if you need to have that extra computing power or memory or storage, so you buy what we call a slice. So you've got a bit of CPU and a bit of storage that you get. There's around about $125 a slice. So you can actually ramp up that demand or your capacity as your demand gets up. But you've also then got, we see that model then going to a pay-as-you-need model very soon in the future. So if you need to have a new application on and you're switching on because there's greater demand, then you'll just be able to pay that as you need.
Kevin, take us through some of the other models that you're seeing within the marketplace.
In terms of the infrastructure as a service, which is what we've talked about so far, buying slices of infrastructure, there's a couple of different models. There's the one pioneered by Amazon, where you just buy a virtual machine, maybe a small, a big one, and there's a certain price per hour. Other models that I've seen is that they will give you some slice of a computer, and you can use that and put as many virtual machines as you like. For other people, you actually go out and you buy whole computers, and you rent those for a month, and then you can run whatever you like on that. Other models I've seen actually require you to take out a 1 or 2 year contract. So if you're looking at these very short slice type models, there is going to be a premium on what you have to pay. On the other hand, if you go into more of a managed services contract for your infrastructure and you acquire a large volume of infrastructure and you acquire it for 2 or 3 years, then you would expect to get a significant discount over those pay-as-you-go models.
Okay, Stephen, what are you seeing the most demand for in terms of different models that are out there?
I think the 2 key areas are software as a service, where organisations are getting applications, especially in the CRM space, and they're buying them on a per-user, per-month basis. These applications will be centrally hosted and managed, so no infrastructure required by the organisation. And the second key area that we're seeing a lot of growth in is infrastructure as a service. And the model in our business, I'd say 90% of the infrastructure sales that we've done in the last 12 months have been on an infrastructure as a service model. And we bundle in a server, storage, licensing, data centre connectivity, manage it all, and sell it back to a client on a per-server, per-month basis. And that has really seen big uptake in the last 12 months.
Okay, Phil, if we can go to you, what type of demand are you seeing and how is it trending? Did you see a lot of demand, say, 12 months ago and it's picking up now, or what's the marketplace like out there for you?
Certainly in the larger corporates, we're certainly seeing that the increase in infrastructure as a service. We're probably seeing Savills come on and they're using it for their disaster recovery, and we're seeing Curtin as well just virtualising their data centre. So I agree, we're certainly seeing the infrastructure coming through. At the small end of the market, we've been seeing a little bit more interest in the software as a service model. So that's really looking at the different applications, and that allows really the small business to step up and compete at a scale of computing power with the larger organisations. And that's where we're seeing the biggest volume of inquiries coming into us so far.
Okay, Paul,